Hello everyone, Bean here. Your guitar junkie. Beanie from the bedroom. Master Wah. Yeah, can I think of anything else? Long awaited Dean Thoroughbread. So let me make some noise with this here. Try and specify. And then I'll talk about it. And then I'll probably unpack something if you care to hear about that as well. Let's see what happens, shall we? Yeah. Yeah. So I didn't want to. I was getting carried away. I'm tired. It's late. It's really late. It's 9:05 p.m. And yeah, I've lost some steam, but it's good because it's worked out my frustrations. Let's just say. Right, so the best LP guitar I could think of. Why is it like that? Let me just scooch that over a little bit. The Dean Thoroughbread with a 3A quilted maple top, matching headstock. It's a top. It's not a veneer. It's not a photo finish. Look at that. Would you just look at it shine? Look at it glimmer. Look at it. Glimmer? Shimmer. Look at it shine, look at it shimmer. All right. See, it's late, I'm tired. 2 volume and tones for the neck and the bridge. Neck and then bridge. No splitting going on here, I don't mind telling you. No splitting, no tapping, whatever the hell you want to call it. Special Seymour Duncan pickups design, especially for Dean. That's right here in Tampa, Florida, about 35 minutes away from me. Great. I would have a Dean shirt on, but they're like $30. Yeah, so, you know, what? A Floyd Rose 1000. It's got the screw-on coupling. The 1500 series has the push-in with little chrome bits here and there. 3-way toggle switch, which I had to replace. I'll get into that. 22 jumbo frets. I like big frets and I don't know why. Ebony fingerboard, pearl inlays. It's got this beautiful binding going all the way around it. Just look at that curve on that. That's cool the way that, I like that better than the Gibsons. Thin body guitar. It's 8.77 ounces. It's got 1 to 18 or 18 to 1 ratio Grover tuners. It's got a the sexy flute mon that protects the headstock headstock from breaking off of the neck, and I think it gives it a little bit more sustain. That's what I think. That's what I'm sticking with. That's my story. Satin neck, so you can see it's taped off here to there. So satin finish on the back, really nice. A thin 60s neck, by the way, a shredding machine. It's got this beautiful contoured heel, so you can get to those lower frets. And that's really, I think that's everything that I could think of on this guitar. Now, I still think it's the best LP ever made. I think it's better than the Epiphone, Alex Lifeson, and I like it more than the Agile, because the Agile comes with 24 frets, and even though they're thinner in their neck through, they're like a boat anchor, man. They weigh a ton. This is supposed to be a neck through design, not just a set neck, from what I understand. I think I saw it on a video. I think, maybe, I don't know. So yeah, that's everything on the guitar. Now, what will put this over the top for me is stainless steel frets, because if Harley Benton can put them on their $300 guitars, and you can get guitars from Amazon for 150 bucks, 200 with stainless steel frets, ball end, why can't everyone do it? Yeah, no splitting, don't need it. What would be nice is if you put a push where you push it and it pops out, and then in the middle you get that out of phase Greedy Moore quacky sound. That's all that would be cool. And then you push it back down to turn it off, instead of a push, because you got to pull it before you push it. I hate that when they say push pull. Oh yeah? Okay, that's kind of backwards. Maybe it sounded good, you know, when they were saying it. It was easier to say push pull instead of pull push. I don't know. That's just me. The other thing would be sweet. So you have, if Dean would make a stainless steel frets, a push out of phase switch, if they put a bit of a forearm contour here, see, it's really late, and a belly cut like the Alex Lifeson, that would be sweet. I'm just saying, you know, the way this is, it's still it's probably one of the best LP guitars that I've ever had. For me, that's my opinion. I'm sticking with it. Yeah, it's just sweet. Now, I bought this privately, and this will be the last thing ever, guitar, amp, pedal, I will ever buy privately. And we'll get into that right now. Before I do, when I sell something, I sell a used guitar, and I don't sell it because I have an issue with it. I don't sell it because the switch is broken, the pickup doesn't work, whatever case. If I get a guitar and I have an issue with it, I like buying from Guitar Center's used gear page, because I have 45 days. So if I get the guitar, and straight out of the box, I always do an open box video, but I never post it unless I have a problem, just to back me up. Then if I do have a problem, you know, I make sure that the store I got it from warranties it, either fixes the problem, and if I'm satisfied with it, I'll keep it, or I get my money back. I have 45 days to make that decision. So even if I don't like it in the 44th day, I'm done with it. The love affair is over. I could bring it back and get my full refund. Unless there's a problem, I'm not going to get shipping. But let's face it, I'm a platinum customer, so I hardly pay for shipping anyway. There. So, and the warranty, as far as, like, to give you an example, I bought these two Schecter guitars, the Sun Valley Super Shredder Telly, and the traditional Van Nuys, I think it is, up there. And if you see my videos, I've had issues with this Fender Supersonic amp. And I've had some problems with things where, you know, I bring it back and they fix it. They've done it, like I said, on a guitar that I bought, and the tone. It was supposed to be a tone with the kill switch where you click it in 10 and it bypasses. And they had to replace that twice because the first time the guy just put a regular tone in there. When I went to check it before I left, I says it's not clicking to 10 in 10 and bypassing. Oh, no. So I had to go back after he ordered a new one. After I called the guy from Chauvel to have him order it and send it to the store. Yeah, that's what I had to do. That was out of Tampa. So yeah, I brought these two in because I had problems with both of them once I got it. And my ex-gear advisor, Jeremy Smith, I told him I could bring it right to Clearwater Guitar Center because it's closer. It's like 12 minutes from my house. And I'm familiar with the people there. They finally got a tech there that knows what he's doing. They didn't have a tech for the longest time. And that's why I had to go to Tampa at one time because it was months without them even getting a guitar tech there. I bring those to Jim G, and he fixes them, does a great job. My guy is supposed to be splitting the bill, $75 a piece on the guitars. And I was willing to, because I was having the pickups, because the pickups that came with the traditional were crap. And I was willing to pay out of pocket, but my gear advisor said, oh, I'll take care of that too. Sweet. I go to pick them up, and Jim G said, you know, I didn't get paid for them yet, but I'm not worried about it. You know, I know you, you know, just take them. And if I have a problem, I'll let you know. And I said, yes, if you do have a problem, let me know. I'll take care of it. And he said, can you do me a favor when you know, can you send me Jeremiah Smith's email and, you know, so I could get in contact with him? I said, sure, send me an email from your email so I have it. When I get home, I'll open it, and then I'll forward you his email address plus his direct line. And then again, I said it verbally in the store, and then I said it in an email. If there's a problem and you don't get paid, let me know. I'll take care of it. So a month goes by. I don't know if I've been in there or whatever. I think I was in there on a Friday, and I was checking out the Fender Hot Rod Deluxe behind me, the tweed one on the floor here. I was checking out a couple I saw online that they had. They had a couple of the juniors, and they had, I think, 2 of those. So I went in there Friday morning, before noon, I think it was. And I'm checking them out, and I go over and I see Jim G, and I say hi, you know, casually, just shoot the shit a little bit, and go back and forth on things. And then I go over and I ask Zach, my next guy that I go to, you know, what the price is on. That was a cough. I was just making it look like it was a sneeze. So I'm not rude. I don't want you to catch COVID over the phone, over the video. I'm just kidding. Calm down. So I go with Zach, and I said, yeah, I said, what's the prices on these amps? I think they had 2 of each, or three juniors and 2 of the deluxes. So he's giving me prices, and this was the best looking one there, and he said that's the best one there because it's got the Jensen speaker. So he says, do you want to get it? I says, I want to do some research on it first, watch some videos, and learn about it. You know, I don't have time to play it right now. So I leave. I call up the owner of this guitar. I believe his name was, I don't know, Grant. And he's in Apollo Beach. I thought it was like an hour away. Turns out he's like an hour and a half away. So via messaging, because he was selling this on Facebook Marketplace. So I started early on asking him, like, you know, does this have an ebony fingerboard, and you know, is that a Floyd Rose 1000? You know, he didn't leave give you that much information. He left a lot of details out of his ad. And I said, do you have a case? And he says, well, I could drum one up for you if you need it. So I send him a message. It's like 12-ish, hoping he'll get back to me, ASAP, and I could go right from Guitar Center in Clearwater and head to this guy. Again, thinking it was an hour away. He lets me know after 2, gives me his address, and I look at it, and I'm like, oh, it's like an hour and a half away. Screw it, let's just go. I go there, rush hour traffic both ways. Anytime after 12, 1 o'clock. It was after 2 on a Friday here in Florida. People are taking off for the weekend. It's crazy. So I get to the guy's house. Nice enough guy, nice family, nice house. I go in the house and he gives me the guitar, and like the room is dark. I can barely see it. I'm trying to see if there's any fractured cracks around the headstock or the joint here, stuff like that. And he puts a light on, which helped a little bit. So he wants to plug it in and let me play it, but I want to play it cold, so I'm doing this. I'm trying to make sure that there's no fret buzzing anywhere. I go down the whole neck. I get up to here, and it frets out. Not like now. I couldn't hear it. And when I'm playing it, I'm like, I tune everything to an E. And it sounded almost like it was a D flat, And I asked him, is this tuned to an E? He goes, yeah. And I said, okay. He says, are you a rhythm guy? Because he's a metalhead. A lot of the times it's just a, 2-finger power chord thing, which I do a lot too. I'm guilty of it as well. He goes, no. I said, you rhythm or lead? He goes, oh, both. And I'm like, how do you lead down here when it's fretting out? You can't even hear the note. You have an Allen key. I want to raise the bridge. I raised this bridge so much that when I got home, I raised it some more. And then when I tuned it by ear and go into the tuners, and I hit the polytune, I was so close to an E, and I'm thinking to myself, if it was tuned to an E and I raised this up so high, it should be like tuned to a G at this point. But regardless, now I go to, plug it in, turn it on and play it, and I'm doing this. Now I'm just doing that now because I have the volume turned off on the bridge pickup in the position. But it wasn't going. It wasn't working. The switch is all over the place. It's spinning. It's going in every which direction. I don't know if it was, a 3-way that was broken or if it was a 6-way. The 6-way switches go bridge, 2 pickups, neck. And then this 6-way goes in the middle, and you go this way, it splits the neck pickup. You go this way, and it splits the bridge pickup. So I wasn't sure if it was just a busted 3-way toggle that was loose and spinning and broken, or if it was a 6-way that was just screwed up. And I said to him right from the get-go, it's going to need a new toggle switch. And, I was hoping he would say, well, I take $50 off, of the guitar. I was thinking about offering him, $50 less, but the thing in the back of my head is that every time when I'm selling something, someone's always trying to haggle me down. Now, I'm a haggler myself. I nickel and dime everybody in a business, at a store, Personally, I don't like to do it. If someone's selling something and I see it's a reasonable price, I'll pay them what they're asking. When I go to their house, I'm not going to say, if it's $800, I'm not going to say, oh, would you take $700? You know what I mean? I don't like that. I get it all the time. So I didn't say anything. He didn't say anything. And I was debating in my head because I kept on saying, the switch is shot. It's toast. It needs a new switch. So then I thought back about the case. I said, well, you have a case with it? He goes, yeah, do you have to have a case? And I'm thinking to myself, shit, yeah, I need a case, because if I'm going to spend $50 on a toggle switch, I'm not going to walk out of here without it being in the case. That's just the way it is. I did have a gig bag in the car, just in case. But when it came to that, you know, I was debating just walking out, and I was saying to myself, I would be spending 3 hours driving in Florida traffic to check out this guitar and not going home with it. And it's the only one that I found that has a tremolo. I found a couple of these on Guitar Center's used gear, but with a hardtail. So yeah, I want a case. I need a case with it. So he gives me a used Roadrunner case. That's not even an LP case, but it's the kind that fits any kind of thing. So I take it, and I come home, and you know, I'm like trying to bend it, and it's like, you know, was I? No, I wasn't. I didn't even try to bend it. I just tried to play it again and have to adjust the bridge one more time. In doing that, when I thought I could just tighten this up, I took the plate off in the back, and it looked like an electronical wet dream back there. And I was like, wow, I can't, there's no way, there's so many wires here, you know, I'm afraid I'm gonna break something or cut a wire, you know, lose the solder. To tighten it up, I'll just leave it. I know the toggle switch is screwed anyway, and let me just call around. I've got like 3 different places here. I got a guy over here that he isn't the nicest guy to get along with. I got another guy over here that I get along with. Then I got Jim G at Guitar Center. So I'm calling up for prices. I get one price, $80 plus the switch and tax. You know, so $80 plus the switch. And then they have to order the switch, the toggle. Jim G tells me $39 with the switch. Okay, great. I'll see you tomorrow. I go back Saturday, because it was from Friday to Saturday. I go back, I see Zach, and I tell Zach right away, he comes over to say hi, and I said, you know, the twin that we were discussing yesterday, I says, I'm going to take that. I said, I'm not even going to play it. I'll bring it home and try it with my pedal board and see what's up. And I said, so if you want to, you know, bring that over to the counter and start writing it up, that'll be great. I take the guitar out, I give it to, put it on the counter, and Jim's looking it over, and I'm showing him the switch, how it's all over the place. And he says, okay, he takes out a price sheet. He says, I just got this from James, the manager. He says, it's $45 plus tax now. So again, I'm a haggler. My father was a wealthy guy, and he would, you know, always ask whether he's buying a car, whatever he's buying. He would try to haggle, and I do the same thing all the time with anything. So I figured it's a company. It's not like I'm at his house and it's the price out of his head. So I said to him, well, can't you just honor the price you told me on the phone? As a businessman, that's how I think. And I pulled the pin on the grenade, and he just exploded. He got so pissed. And he started off with, well, I didn't get paid for those 2 fucking Schecters that I did for you. And I was like taken back, and, you know, he says, and you're haggling over $5. To me, it's not the point, it's the principle. So, you know, I ran a business. The Safe-Light Repair, Safe-Light Replace mobile unit that you see on the commercials and they come to your house. I was the 3rd guy that got my hands on that. I used to sub for the first guy. I thought I'd get the position. Then, because my district manager was a dick, I had a problem with him because my brother-in-law, we used to work out of his shop, got along with him, left and started his own glass business. So, you know, I got overlooked. The second guy came in. I subbed when he was on vacation. Then he went on to bigger and better things. They both went on to running a shop. It was offered to me, and I took it. I did so well with it. I was making more money than the shops. They were closing stores down. The president of the company asked me if I could train the VPs and the district managers of all the lower 48 in the United States, and blueprint my truck, blueprint my office, and train everyone on how to run things and how I set things up and how I'm doing so well. And so that's how the Safe-Light Repair got in every state in the lower 48. And I'm proud of that. I'm proud that I did that. So yeah, when I ran that business, and I was offered corporate jobs from VPs and all to do this, that, and the other thing, and I never got along with corporate people. These are guys that are, out of college. They get a degree. They don't know jack shit, or they know jack shit about auto glass, and you have arguments with them. A VP will come out, or DM, and they would stay for the week, and I would train them. I would teach them show them, what's going on. Now, with that in mind, other stores and other shops, when they did jobs and they had problems, they would ask me, my DM would ask me, can I go and fix it, put the fire out, even though I didn't do it, or my guys didn't even do it. And I would go there and I would eat shit, and I would do whatever I had to do to make the customer happy. If you piss off a customer, you got to piss him off, then you got to piss off everyone in his family, you got to piss off his neighbors, and then his friends. It trickles down, so it doesn't make sense. So that's the way I ran my Safelite mobile unit. Back to Guitar Center, $39, plus tax is what you told me over the phone, and now it's $45 plus tax. And the way you're approaching me with the Schecters, I'm thinking to myself, what's going on here? First of all, I told you twice I had nothing to do with that, and if there's a problem, I'll take care of it. You never let me know, but now you're ready to blow it up in my face. It's not my problem. And then, the price goes up. So I tell them I'll still look into it. If I can't get you paid, I'll pay you myself. I see James on my way out, the manager. He says the same thing Jim said. Don't worry about it. It's done. That's why I don't like doing warranty work for other stores. And I'm like, well, if I can't take care of it, if I can't get my guy to take care of it, I'll take care of it myself. So a week later, I get a call. The guitar's done. It's on a Friday. I got a doctor's appointment. I fly over there to pick it up because I just wanted to have it. And, I go to my appointment, I come home. While I'm there, I said to James also, I brought him a thing of cookies to try to make peace, even though it's not my fault. Yeah, look, I'm still working on that. So if you don't get paid by Jeremy, I'm going to look into it. And that's when I asked James on my way out, as I'm paying for my labor. Now, again, my labor went up as well. An additional $40 to do extra wiring, removing the pickups and whatnot. So $85 plus tax later, I get the guitar. I bring it home and I try to check it out and play it, and I can't even bend the strings. It felt like 12, 13 gauge on here. Oh crap, I gotta restring it and set it up. In the middle of doing that, I replace, I pull off the plate. Now, I always just leave 2 screws in here on all of my Floyd Rose guitars, because a lot of times you don't get the right angle, and I don't want to strip the screw, so I take the plate off. In doing so, I realized that I had a chrome-plated screw and 3 fat chrome-plated screws on the cover for the toggle switch. Yeah, level starts going higher. So I take the 3 out of here, I put them in here, because look how they all match now. See, and even for the plate. So that's what I do. I replace the screws, and I order a magnet dish that holds little screws so that they don't fall out, you don't lose them, and Ziploc bags. So when you're working on a guitar and you got all the screws and all, put them in a bag, put them in a case. If you're waiting for something, a part to come in, or waiting for the next day, whatever, so you don't lose the 3 screws. So, that's just the way I'm looking at it. And so yeah, I call there, I find out what time Jim's coming in, 3 o'clock. I text my guy, I send 2 more emails, left 2 messages and then 2 more emails. what's going on with it? I'm gonna have to pay out of my pocket. That's not cool. He sends me a couple of emails back. I'm working on it. I'm taking care of it. I read one email just before I came in here now. He's saying it's all taken care of. I'll find out tomorrow from James if they actually got paid. If they don't, I'm gonna have them write up a ticket for the 2 guitars again, and just pay for the labor. This way here, Jim gets his cut and James gets his cut, because I'm sure all the money doesn't go right to Jim. I'm sure the store gets a certain percentage and Jim gets a certain percentage. So I don't want to screw James out of any money, because that's how I am. That's my principles. Again, in Safelight, you know, if someone was using our tools, you know, our van on our time with our supplies, and they went and they did a labor job, you know, on company time with company supplies, that's stealing. And I didn't care for it then. I don't care for it now. I would never go to a place and say, oh, hey, can you fix this for me? And I'll pay you in your pocket. No, because I have that mentality. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do tomorrow. And that's about it. So I'm sorry that it went so long. If you stayed this long, I appreciate it. I really do. And yeah, you know, what do you think? I think I was a pretty good guy about it all at the end. So thanks for watching. Have a good day and a better tomorrow.